And a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Hitting Home, 50 years of the Irish charts. Fiachna O'Brien on here, and over the next hour we're going to be looking back over the highlights of the 1990s. The 90s charts witnessed the cyclical nature of music as Britpop borrowed from the Beatles, dance music borrowed and perhaps even stole from wherever it could, and boy bands gave more than a passing nod to the show bands. Big budget marketing propelled artists to the top, but hey, we bought the records. And the Irish charts always managed a few surprises that we kept to ourselves. Underworld, Born Slippy. The decade started with plenty of Irish talent topping the charts. In January 1990, Sinead O'Connor spent 6 weeks at number 1 with the Prince-composed Nothing Compares to You. She went on to top the UK charts and spent 4 weeks at the top in the US. The song and the standout video performance made her a global superstar.
It's been 7 hours and 50 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whomever I choose. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing, I said nothing can take away this blues.
Dublin band Something Happens, who got a kickstart on Megamix back in the 80s, had a big hit going to number 2 with Hello, 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 Hello.
She wears diamonds, she wears rubies, she wears stones as big as my ones that come from the Colosseum. And she says, don't you want to see them? And I said, hello, 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 second coming. Hello, 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 second coming. Says I feel much better, and you seem much better, because you get much better. You get better every single day.
Put 'em Under Pressure spent 13 weeks at number 1 for the Republic of Ireland football squad under the guidance of Larry Mullen. Here's Barry Devlin, but first, Moyani Vrenain.
To be involved in one of the greatest sporting movements in Ireland with the Irish team, it was fantastic. And, you know, I knew Packy Bonner and David O'Leary and and doing the video with it and everything. And, you know, Dennis Woods and Larry Mullins and all the people that were involved. We had such crack doing it. It was really, really amazing. And it was just fantastic for me to be asked as a girl to sort of give it this sort of movement building up to the Put Them Under Pressure. It was fantastic. It was and to be then in the charts for 13 weeks, that was that'll never happen to me again, I don't think.
We've qualified for the World Cup. Go and compete.
Put Them Under Pressure, although I didn't do it. And indeed, the riff now isn't played by us. It's not lifted off the album. It was played by Andrew Drennan. Played it very well. But he'll never be a patron. He's no Johnny Fionn. You know that, Andrew.
We'll prepare and we'll go and we'll do our best. We'll put them under pressure. The game is about being effective, being aggressive, winning the ball, getting on with the play. We'll put them under pressure.
13 weeks are spent at number one by football songs. In 1 week alone in June, the top 5 singles were all football songs. However, it didn't get us past the quarter-final in the World Cup.
And that's it. Italy go forward to meet Maradona and Argentina in the semi-final. But the Irish fans likewise should be on their feet acclaiming one of the most gallant performances we've ever seen from an Irish team.
Galway sent the Saw Doctors to number one with I Used to Love Her, spending 9 weeks there and 35 weeks on the chart. The first of 15 top 30 hits for them. Here's Leo Moran.
I Used to Love Her become a number one. It climbed the charts, I think, from the end of the summer when Fela was on. And it took, as far as I remember, 7 weeks to get to number one. And then it was 9 weeks at the top, and then it rolled on from there. And it was a crazy, mad time. We'd been playing around for 2 or 3 years before that, but we hadn't experienced anything like this kind of chaos. Just everybody wanted you because you were number one, regardless of what the music was or what the song was or what you really did most of the time. But it was a brilliant experience for the Saw Doctors because it meant that we were famous in Ireland, obviously, and that fame we were able to pack into a bag and bring across the water to America and to Britain, and we were able to establish a basic audience in those foreign countries with the Irish communities, and over the years then we've been able to build on that and spread out into the general populations over there. But definitely I Used to Love Her being number one for that length was a huge springboard for that.
I have fallen for another, she can make her own way home. And even if she asked me now, I'd let her go alone. But I used to see her up the chapel when she went to Sunday Mass. And when she go up to receive, I'd kneel down there and watch her pass the glory of her ass. I used to love her, I used to love her once.
We did a tour with the Waterboys in 1989, in 88 first around Ireland and then 89 in Britain. And during the tour, Mike Scott promised that he would produce our first single, which would be N17, which he did, and then it was our first single. It got a few airplays, but it didn't hit the same kind of the nail on the head, or it didn't capture people's imagination the same way as the second single did, which happened to be I Used to Love Her. But N17 then got re-released, and I suppose when people were familiar with the band, they became familiar with the song. And we were number 2 and 3 at Christmas time. Zig and Zag had the number one song for Christmas. They were unbeatable.
Oh yeah! Hang on, turn that down. That's real groovy. I'm trying to do my Santa list. I've only got 18 pages written. Oh yeah. Well, listen to me. I'm the grandma's side and say I'm no good, but I'm the meanest rapper in the neighborhood. I'm the alien with time for one getting down. I'm the royalty rapper, the one who went to town. What are you doing on the girly gold jewelry? Stand back, Flo, and let me go with the flow, cause it's a Yule time, it's a cool time. And brother Zing, it's your turn to rap. Oh yeah, so I've got to do this rap stuff, yeah? Okay, right then. Well, Christmas is coming, Justin's getting fat. Stuffy is blue and Zag is still a twat. Christmas pudding with cucumbers on top. I go hyperactive with all the fizzy pop, ooh yeah! You call me a twat? Yeah, twat. Thanks very much. And he's a coming. And he's a running. He's got a thinking. And lads are good cheer. He's a moving. Well, he's a grooving. Hey, Santa baby, why don't you break it down?
And the Christmas number one in 1990 was called the Christmas number one. Those lovable rogues from the planet Zog spent 5 weeks at the top, swiftly followed by another colourful little fella.
So move your body, get out the nation. Front to back in a rock-like motion. Now that you got it, if you think you can, do it to the music, that's the Bartman. Everybody, if you can do the Bartman, shake your body, turn it up, if you can. Check it out, man. To the side, yes, you can. Bartman. Everybody in the house, do the Bartman. Everybody, if you can do the Bartman, shake your body, turn it up, if you can. To the side, yes, you can. Everybody in the house, do the Bartman.
Do the Bartman spent 9 weeks at number one. No wonder they made us the European capital of culture that year. The underground acid house revolution of the 1980s was beginning to emerge into the mainstream and in turn into the charts. Here's Moyini Vrenon.
There's a lot of songs now, you know, that do emerge as remixes, and particularly for the, you know, the clubbing and everything is so huge, and so doing dance versions of songs that are well known, and particularly if they were huge, you know, when they were initially released. So it's no surprise that if there were a great song that there would be a wonderful remix. And it's nice when people take a song of yours and maybe if they want to remix it, it's kind of, it gives you a boost really, in a way, that you could be heard in today's charts with something that you kind of wrote many years ago. So in that kind of way, it's good, you know.
Dance music was the order of the day, and remixes were de rigueur no matter what kind of music you were making. This went straight into U2's imagination, and they returned with a new look and a new sound to challenge the times. Achtung Baby changed rock music and spawned some of their most enduring hits.
Well, it's too late tonight to drag the past out into the night. We're one, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other, carry each other. Whoa. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways.
In 1992, Rhythm is a Dancer by Snap spent 8 weeks at number 1.
Rhythm is a dancer, it's a source companion. You could feel it everywhere. Lift your hands and voices, free your mind and join us. You can feel it in the air. Oh, it's a passion. Oh, you can feel it, yeah. It's a passion. Rhythm is a dancer, it's a source companion. You can feel it everywhere.
By now, Ireland was ready for a super club, and the following year the Pod opened and made Dublin a destination for the world's new superstar DJs, and the charts felt the beat with hits from D-Ream, M People and Culture Beat.
Show me prejudice and greed, and you've shown me how I must learn to deal with this disease. I'll look at things now.
Meanwhile, the Sultans of Ping were dancing to their own beat.
Me jumper, me jumper, me jumper, me jumper. Dancing in the disco, bumper to bumper. Wait a minute. Me jumper, me jumper, me jumper, me jumper, me jumper. I know.
Journalist and pop fanatic Jennifer Gannon.
And that was such a huge part of growing up for me, was Where's Me Jumper was always there in the background. Or it's just so anarchic, and Kurt Cobain was a massive fan of Sultans of Ping, but it was just so insane really when you think about it, but it was so successful, and I love that about Ireland, and I don't think that people really appreciate it enough. This is a country that would make someone like Richie Kavanagh a star. It's bizarre and it's brilliant.
Indeed, Ain Fukalella made Richie Kavanagh the star he is today. We kept him at the top of the charts for 6 weeks, and we know it was all above board, as for the first time in the chart's history, we had a system that was purely and accurately based on consumer sales.
Oh, the man himself, Ain Fukalella, and God only knows what else.
That's the fucking truth, Jerry.
That's the fucking truth. Richie Kavanagh, good morning and welcome. It's good to have you with us today. This show could not have gone ahead without a man of your calibre there at the helm.
When I brought out Ain Fukalella first, no one had played. And one morning I'm at home in the bed one Saturday morning, 7:30 in the morning, and my wife Nancy's down in the kitchen, and I could hear Ain Fukalella all over the whole house. And I was wondering why Nancy was playing the tape so early in the morning. So Nancy comes down to the bedroom all excited. She says, Tony Close, South East Radio is playing Ain Fukalella. So I rang up Tony, says, I told him you're an awful man to be playing Ain Fukalella. Well, he says, it's 7:30 of a Saturday morning, there mightn't be that many people listening. So we played it for a week. Then all the local stations started playing it. Then Jerry Ryan started playing it. And we ended up being number one for 7 weeks. So thanks to Jerry, we got to number one. And that's the truth.
She'd go in, fuckle ga, fuckle two, fuckalella, and I'm not no fuckle.
Another alternative genre breaking into the charts was grunge.
The 90s, I think, in terms of the charts, was as famous for straightforward pop music and novelty singles as any previous decade. Having said that, certain things broke through, as you well know. I mean, like Michael Jackson was number one in the charts around whatever it was, 92, and was knocked off by an album that had been reviewed in all the rock press, by, like, which got, 2 stars and 3 stars, and, like, revisionism 20 years later means 10 stars, because it just conquered the world. It just, nobody could have predicted it, even the band themselves. And in fact, the sudden spurt of major kind of, huge celebrity that they got out of it killed its lead singer possibly a couple of years later. And that's Nirvana. Smells Like Teen Spirit just took off. I mean, even the video, Dodgy Enough, that meant so much to so many people too. It just conquered everything. And then 3 or 4 more singles spilled out of that one album. Never mind.
And Nirvana may not have happened at all were it not for a band they viewed as pioneers from Athens, Georgia.
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion. trying to keep eye on you, like a hurt, lost and blind. Oh, oh, oh no, I said too much. I set it up.
R.E.M. had already found mainstream success in the 80s, but in the 90s they charted with career-defining hits.
When your day is long and the night is yours alone. When you're sure you've had enough of this life, hang on. Don't let yourself go. 'Cause everybody cries, and everybody hurts sometimes.
So dance and grunge may have made it into the charts, but it was the big guns of MOR who held on to the #1 spot the longest.
Look into your heart, you will find there's nothing there to hide. Take me as I am, take my life. I will give it all. I would sacrifice. Don't tell me it's not worth fighting for. I can't help it. There's nothing I won't want. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you.
Bryan Adams was #1 for a staggering 10 weeks.
And I would do anything for love. Oh, I would do anything for love. I would do anything for love. But I won't do that. No, I won't do that.
Meatloaf, I'd Do Anything for Love, #1 for 7 weeks. Whitney Houston was #1 with I Will Always Love You for 8 weeks in the 90s. Well, after all these power ballads, I know just a fella to shake things up a bit.
Well, it was sort of like, up until that, it was all, oh, he's a bit of a himbo, he's a bimbo, he's all that. But then when I went out and I actually proved that I could sing and I had the moves and stuff like that, I mean, I just knew I had the natural sort of, I suppose, Christy Moore in me, or a bit of Bono. I mean, I'm the same size as Bono, he's a bigger nose than me, and I have a better voice than him. It just made me feel proud, because I was embraced by the Irish people, and I always wanted one of them plaques to put up in me jacks as I was doing me business.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man after my own heart, a true Dubliner. Put your hands together for Mr. Ronnie Drew.
As I went out through Dublin city at the hour of 12 at night, who should I meet but the Spanish lady washing her feet by candlelight? First she washed them, then she dried them over a fire of ambry coal. In all my life I never did see a maid so sweet around the soul. Whack for the toodle-doodle-laddy, whack for the toodle-doodle-day. Whack for the toodle-doodle-laddy, whack for the toodle-doodle-day. Take it away, Dustin.
As I came back to Dublin City at the hour of 8:30, bumped into to the Spanish lady, cause her bus was running late. I said Coolock, she said Jamesgate, why don't we go for a bite to 8 and be followed by a geezer with a big grey beard? I hope he isn't one of your mates. Whack for the too-ray, laddie, whack for the too-ray, whack for the too-ray, laddie, whack for the too-ray,
As I went
Ronnie Drew taught me a lot. He taught me that he couldn't sing, so he made me look good straight away. I'm going, what are you saying? You like, I mean, Ronnie, you're not a Scobie. You live out in Greystones and Wicklow, where the stockbrokers and the doctors all live. And I got, Ronnie, hold on, get away from the microphone there, and he'd be going. And I go, Ronnie, have you been taking drink again? But the difference was, I had great crack with Ronnie in studio. I actually moved into his beard for 2 weeks after that. We were such good mates.
Dustin the Turkey had his first number one with Spanish Lady. He went on to have another 6, a record he shares with Britney Spears. And he wasn't the only one making chart history. A Woman's Heart became one of Ireland's biggest success stories to date. Here's Mary Black.
You know, people used to say it sold more than the Pope, and you remember the way the Pope sold back in 1980. That album was the biggest selling Irish album, and then Woman's Heart topped him. So it was a funny thing that happened. They were looking at, it was Dara Records at the time, which would be my husband Joe's and his brother Paul's label, and there was talk about bringing a compilation album together. And the more we looked at it, the more it was. There was a lot of female, very successful and very powerful female artists doing well, and it was more and more looking like it was there were women. And someone suggested, I argue that it was me. Someone else says it was someone else, but either way. The idea came, let's keep it all women. And at the time, Eleanor McAvoy was in my band, and she was, you know, she played fiddle and keyboards and did backing vocals. She didn't do any of her own songs. And backstage, of course, at night, before and after sessions, whatever, she'd be singing some of her own songs. And I heard her sing the song Woman's Heart, and I thought, wow, I love that. And she was writing some beautiful songs. At this stage, she'd never recorded anything of her own. So I said to Joe and Paul, look, I think we should put Eleanor McAvoy. This girl is great, and this is a brilliant song, and it would be perfect for the album. And they're saying, well, we're looking at kind of established artists, you know, Eleanor hasn't really done anything. And then I said, well, what about if the two of us sing this song together? I think it would be a perfect and a title track of the album. So we got together, we recorded the track, and the rest was history. I mean, the songs, of course, on the album, of course, played a huge part in the success of the album, and the artist. There was Frances, my sister, Dolores Keane, Eleanor, myself, Maura O'Connell, and Sharon Shannon. I think that was the 6. It was 6. But it just took off like wildfire, and people couldn't get enough of it. And, we were amazed. We were absolutely blown away.
My heart is low. My heart is so low, as only a woman's heart can be, as only a woman's, as only a woman's, as only a woman's heart can know. The tears that drip from my bewildered eyes.
And to more chart-topping Irish women, the Cranberries, fronted by Dolores O'Riordan, hit the charts with Linger and went on to massive international success.
So why were you holding her hand? Is that the way we stand? We're lying all the time. Was it just a game to you? But I mean something. You know I'm such a
Niamh Kavanagh won the Eurovision and topped the charts with In Your Eyes.
Built a wall around me, afraid of letting go. But suddenly an open door I never saw before.
And that could only mean one thing. Yes, it was our turn to host the Eurovision once again, and what a Eurovision it turned out to be.
Now, my friends, Riverdance, a full-bodied orchestral dance piece composed by Bill Whelan, involving traditional Irish dancers, the Celtic Choir Onuana, and the magical dance partnership of Jean Butler and Michael Flatley.
Ladies and gentlemen, Riverdance.
I suppose the thing about Riverdance staying so long as it did in the charts, I mean, it was a complete outside runner. Nobody could see the sense of a 7-minute piece of instrumental music. I raised the money from an insurance company that I'd done some music for, and I just said to them, look, I need €10,000, and they gave me the money to make the record. And the thing about it is that if we hadn't had the record, there would have been nothing tangible to keep the memory of that night, which all of us, you know, it was an extraordinary night for any of us, for the audience and for those of us involved. They would have had nothing to keep that alive. And here was a single, suddenly, that DJs played off the air the next morning, went straight to the UK. Terry Wogan started to play it. He was all excited about it. He was a great support, played it every morning. And, you know, even down to things like, I remember going down to my hometown to Limerick, and there was a pub, and they used to play it every day after the Angelus at 6 o'clock in the pub, and everyone would sort of stop, and they'd show the video, and they'd play the record, and it was like, those kind of things really kept Riverdance alive, and having the record, the physical record, kept Riverdance alive until we were able to put up the full 2-hour show.
Bill Whelan topped the chart for 18 weeks with Riverdance, and to this day still holds the record for the longest stay at number 1. And after all that, the fact that we won yet another Eurovision had become a bit sidelined, but yes, we did. The Rock and Roll Kids, Charlie McGettigan and Paul Harrington.
We were the Rock and Roll Kids. Rock and roll was all we did. And listening to those songs on the radio, I was yours and you were mine. That was once upon a time. Now we never seem to rock and roll anymore. I was yours and you were mine. That was once upon a time. Now we never seem to rock and roll. We just never seem to rock and roll anymore.
Take That had a string of hits throughout the 90s, including this one.
Whatever I'm wrong, just tell me the song and I'll sing it. You'll be right and understood. See, I want you back for good. Whatever I'm wrong, I tell you. I just want you back for good. I want you back. I want you back for good. Whenever I'm wrong, I tell you. I want you back. I want you back. You see, I want you back for good. Oh, yeah. I guess now it's time that you came back for good.
It looked like their position as the boy band was unshakable. But but we had other ideas.
4 of them are going to be Ireland's answer to Take That.
I'm going to be the new Irish pop group.
You're going to be the new Irish pop group?
That's right.
At the Teeny Bopper Market.
Teeny Bopper Market.
Yes, I see. I was told you don't play any instruments at all, none of you.
There's a lot of liars there.
I was also told that you don't sing at all, none of you. And knowing that you don't play, you don't sing and you can't write music, I thought you'd go very far, but now you've wrecked the whole thing, you see.
True to their word, Boyzone had their first #1 with the Osmonds hit, Love Me For A Reason.
I remember the first time we went with Boyzone, their dream was to get to Top of the Pops. And then they got there. And the dream was nearly taken away because they were told they had to sing live. And they weren't the best singers in the world, but eventually we got a mime. And a lot of the producers used to insist on certain acts singing live. Boyzone were probably on about 20 or 30 times. Westlife have been on probably 40 or 50 times so far.
And even in the face of adversity, they went on to have another 8 #1s.
How can I try to explain? When I do, it turns the way again. It's always been the same old story. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go.
And despite the fact that we had our own pop stars, we found Britpop irresistible.
The whole Britpop thing was a very unusual thing because in many ways, the way it impacted on the charts, it was like the charts' last hurrah. It was like the charts was slightly dying and it gave one big huge last gasp and everybody went, oh, he's alive! No, he wasn't. Because that was the last gasp. And to me, that was it. And it got the biggest thing ever because it was Blur's Country House, it was Oasis Row with it, it was the two big bands fighting against each other and didn't like each other, which of course really helped, bit of controversy there. And it was on the ITN News and the 9 o'clock news at night on BBC. It was like, what's going on? Who's going to win the fight to #1? And it was mental. And the whole thing was embraced very much here in Ireland and it was huge. People bought singles again, it was really great. But it was kind of the last time for about a 6 or 7 year period. It marked the end of something for me rather than the middle or the apex or the beginning of something.
And the winner was...
Lives in a house, very big house in the country. Watching afternoon repeats and the food he eats in the country. He takes a manner of pills and piles up out his bills in the country. Oh, it's like an animal farm, that's a rural charm in the country. He's got morning glory and life's a different story. Everything's going Jack and Jory. In touch with his own mortality.
And at #2.
You gotta roll with it, you gotta take it time, you gotta say what you say, don't let anybody get in your way. There's a song too much for me to take. Don't ever stand aside, don't ever be denied. You wanna be here, you be if you're coming with me. I think I've got a feeling I've lost it inside. I think I'm gonna take me away and hide. I'm thinking of things that I just can't abide.
We even got caught up in girl power.
Yo, tell me what I want, what I really, really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna take a If you wanna be my lover, you gotta get with my friends. Make it last forever. Friendship never ends. If you wanna be my lover, you have got to give. Taking is too easy, but that's the way it is.
And after 3 decades, Joe Dolan still had his finger on the pulse. Here's Ronan Collins.
I suppose when you look back over the 90s, Joe Dolan's name crops up. Some people say there was a resurgence of Joe Dolan, but he couldn't have resurged because he was surging through all the decades. Joe just continued as he'd started in the 60s, right up into the 21st century. And I think Was there a 21st Century Joe? I think there was. I believe that Damon Albarn actually said, Jesus, that's the version of the song. Because Joe sings it with such great conviction. But that doesn't surprise me. I knew Joe, and Joe singing a song with conviction never surprised me because he was a very convincing singer. He sang a song, and a song like the Universal, Joe would take all his own meanings out of everything, you know. And everybody had their own ideas about what singers are singing about. But with Joe, he could make a song very much his own. He used modern recording techniques, having used live musicians always through the years. I think he changed then, and he worked with Ronan Johnson. And I think Ronan kind of brought in a rhythm section, and it was very much keyboard based and that kind of thing. But the voice was still there. And that was the thing about Joe, the essential Irish singer who sang with a smile in his voice. And I think that's as good as Joe was. And if you ask about his legacy, what's Joe's legacy? Everybody smiles when they hear Joe Dole.
This is the next century where the universe is free. You can find it anywhere. The future has been sold. Every night we're gone. And to karaoke songs, how we like to sing along. Though the words are wrong, it really, really, really could happen. Yes, it really, really, really could happen. When the days they seem to fall through, you will just let them go.
Joe even worked with the chart legend from whom we heard earlier.
Oh, me, oh my, you make me sigh. You're such a good-looking woman. When people stop and people stare, you know it fills my heart with pride. You watch the rise, they're so surprised, think you're falling out of heaven. And if you listen to what they're talking about is walking about with an angel at his side.
Joe came into the studio and he was in the white suit, you know. And at this stage, it'd be fair to say Joe, I wouldn't say he was washed up, I'd say there was no beach left is what I'd say. And he came into the studio now, and he's from Mullingar, so like he had the bit of twine around the trousers and the white suit on, and you know, he went into the toilet and washed his face in the bidet, and you know, then he came in and he goes, oh, we're ready, good looking woman. And you know what, one thing I'll say about Joe is when he started singing, the feathers on the back of me neck stuck up. He really did have a super voice. But funnily enough, myself and Joe, we actually kept Barbie Girl off #1, Aqua. Actually, we knocked it off #1, and I think, you know, that's Ireland's never said thank you to me for that, you know. I mean, we go around honouring people and giving Bono the freedom of Dublin and letting them carry his sheep across Stephen's Green, or Larry as we call him. And you know, why am I getting honoured, you know, for keeping Aqua off, that we're knocking Aqua off #1. But you know what, Joe Dolan, God rest his soul, along with Gay Byrne.
On behalf of a music-loving nation, I'd like to thank Dustin and Joe Dolan. 4 weeks at #1 for Aqua is quite enough.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
At a time when Puff Daddy was still Puff Daddy, Missing You, recorded in memory of Biggie Smalls, featuring Faith Evans, was #1 for 4 weeks in 1997.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away. What a life to take, what a bond to break. I'll be missing
Not only was it the biggest selling record of 1997, it was the biggest selling single of all time in memory of Princess Diana, Elton John's reworking of Candle in the Wind.
And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never fading with the sunset when the rain set in. And your footsteps will always fall here along England's greenest hills. Your candles burned out long before your legend ever will.
In 1998, Irish girl group Bewitched topped the Irish charts and spent 6 weeks there with They had a string of chart successes here at home, but impressively, C'est La Vie was the first of 4 consecutive UK number ones, and they also went on to break the top 10 in the United States. And so to a UK artist who found success here first, and still holds the record for the best-selling album ever in Ireland.
Please forgive me if I act a little strange, for I know now what I do.
The biggest selling album in Ireland ever. It gets thrown at me now with some regularity, this statistic. And, you know, my initial reaction years ago when people started saying it was like, yeah, hey, it's a wonderful thing. I don't know what it means, you know, but I love it now. I just love it. I absolutely love it. It means the world to me. It's just the best. It encapsulates how crazy it got. It went off the charts. No, rather it stayed on the charts and yet went off them at the same time. So yeah, it's a staggering statistic, and they can't take that away from you.
This year's love it, it'll last. Heaven knows it's high time. I've been waiting on my own too long.
The period that was closest to my heart regarding putting out singles and everything was the very beginning. And we put This Year's Love out, I think, as our first single. Just shows how stupid we are. We opened big, you know, with one that was about 5 BPM. We didn't want anyone on the radio playing it or anything like that. So I think there was a film called This Year's Love, which was why I wrote that song in the first place, and that was about to come out. That's why we thought we were going to surf on the back of the film's success and take the world by storm. It didn't quite work out that way.
Whatever about the film, the song certainly made its mark. Well, they said it couldn't be done, but by the end of the decade, another chart-topping Irish boy band was born. Westlife had their first number one with Swear It Again, and another 3 before the decade was out. We'll be hearing more from them in the noughties. And the decade came to a close with the excitement of the MTV European Music Awards coming to town.
Every hotel, every restaurant, every limousine is booked for tonight's MTV Music Awards in Dublin. It's worth some £3 million to the capital's economy, perhaps the same again to the country in publicity, as billions watch it on television. Irish acts are tipped for 2 awards. It is, we're told, a celebration of Ireland's success, its pride of place on the world stage.
Held at Dublin's Point Depot and hosted by Boyzone's Ronan Keating, but the night belonged to one young girl who walked away with 4 awards.
In amongst everything in the 1990s, I think the one song that might just be able to epitomise the whole time. It was catchy, it was sexy, and it was controversial, not just for the video, but for the song itself and even the title, even though Baby One More Time sounds okay on paper. And what a song that was. Great.
Yes, indeed, Britney Spears. Well, there you have it, an impression of what was going on in the Irish charts during the 1990s. Of course, there were many more successes. Macy Gray, Fatboy Slim, Cher and Shaggy, to name but a few. And so on to the 21st century and to the noughties. The arrival of the MP3 and the iPod changed the way we listen to and purchase music forever. In 2006, we see downloads included in compiling the charts, yet the biggest selling single that year wasn't available to download. Television rules the charts once more, with talent shows and ad campaigns affecting the charts more and more. And we continue to watch homegrown talent hit the charts here and internationally. I'll leave you with this, the soundtrack to every New Year's Eve party as the century closed, Prince, 1999. Till the next time, from myself, Fiachna O'Brien, have a great day.
Hitting Home, presented by Fiachna O'Brien, was produced by Sheena Ryan for Raven Productions, with sound supervision by Richie McCulloch. The programme is made with support from the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland. And we'll hear the fifth and final part tomorrow afternoon at the same time.